The following podcast is a deep, shallow dive production.
And you're going to love it.
Okay, let's go.
All right, as I was telling you before I hit record, I literally went for a run prior to this to sweat it out. And this is going to be the theme of today's episode, everybody. All right, listen, this could be the inaugural DSD into a CEO episode because we've got something extra special today. Not only do we have a CEO, Steve Smith from Hotworx, but if you guys have not heard about Hotworx, which maybe you haven't, which is something we're going to work to change. This guy has created a business where he's got 700 plus locations already in the United States. I think another 500 that are in the pipeline coming. And for anybody that knows me and that's listened to this podcast, you know how much I love to sweat and I wear my crazy sauna suit when I run. Well, my man Steve might like to sweat even more than I do because he's created an awesome business called Hotworx where I'll give my version and then I'll let him give his. You know, think about maybe a 10 by 10 infrared sauna that's absolutely gorgeous, by the way. And then inside of it, you're doing yoga, you're doing Pilates, you're doing an isometric workout, you're doing a high intensity interval training workout, anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. And I will tell you, I went last week and did a 30-minute isometric workout and I was drenched, brother, drenched. Anyway, welcome, man. How you doing?
Yeah, Ray, great to be here. Yeah, that workout that you did, that's the original hot ISO, our very first workout that we created way back in the day.
Okay. Well, then you know what? Let's start right there. Like, what was the moment that you were like, oh my God, I think there's a business here? Like, have you always been into sweating? I know you've got a athletic background. Give us that.
So, I've been in fitness all my life, all my career. Started selling memberships at this little bitty health club in Mississippi when I was 18.
Wow.
But the path towards Hotworx began for me, and I'm an ex-athlete, still snow skis, still climb mountains, but played football for a while. And so it was when I decided to add to my weight training and begin doing Bikram yoga. So started doing hot yoga, and it was really rough for a meathead like me in the beginning.
Yeah.
To do yoga, right? But I was determined after that first session to get decent at it. I got decent at it. And then, being in franchising and being an entrepreneur, I started to think about hot yoga and then just hot exercise in general and as a business. And those thoughts led me to, you asked about the moment, I guess the moment of inspiration for what eventually came to be Hotworx was down in Jamaica on a cliff with a rum drink with a good friend who's also in fitness and my business partner's husband, Jerome.
Okay.
We were talking, I was telling him I'm doing Bikram yoga and I'm using infrared saunas that we had at Planet Beach at the time for recovery. And in that moment, Jerome said something to the effect of, dude, they should do yoga in a sauna. And
yoga in the sauna. Because Bikram's the guy, I think there was some controversy with him, right?
He has some serious character issues, but that aside, the workout that he created was awesome. I mean, it was too long for me, 90 minutes.
Oh,
I only had 90 minutes as an executive, hardworking entrepreneur. So my thoughts were always, well, how can we get this done faster? And then Jerome in that moment said, they should do yoga in a sauna. And when he said that, the proverbial entrepreneurial light bulb went off in my head, literally. And my response to Jerome was, dude, I'm going back to New Orleans and design a sauna for that purpose.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And 10 months later, we had a prototype to the market.
What year is this?
This was that very day, was the 14th, 14
Okay,
when
okay,
the
wow, this is
moment happened.
about a decade ago, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting, and at the time, were you thinking what was infrared the big version of sauna? And then what's the difference between an infrared sauna and then, like, just like, the dry sauna that's at, Planet Fitness or 24 Hour Fitness or LA Fitness or those places?
Right. I would say that 10 years ago, infrared saunas were just sort of barreling onto the scene.
Okay,
Most people remember, especially my age, would remember just saunas that you go into, dry saunas with the exception, you would throw water on these rocks.
that's
It was
right.
an electric heater, but it would heat up these rocks, and then you throw water on it to kind of create a little steam effect. But you have to sweat, and you're not going to sweat as profusely in the traditional sauna, but to get to the sweat level you need to be, you got to be at like 180 plus degrees.
Okay,
Or an infrared sauna, that threshold is much lower, like let's say 125 degrees. So it's more tolerable, enables you to be able to actually work out in a sauna. And that's the one of the advantages of infrared. The other advantage of infrared over the traditional convection heat saunas that just heat up the air around you is infrared, and you have to be close enough to the heat source, which is a whole nother topic about why you have to train in a sauna if you want infrared workouts. Infrared absorbs into your skin up to 1.5 inches, triggers your mitochondria to burn energy more efficiently. All kinds of good things happen to your metabolism, and there are many, many health benefits that are well documented all over the internet about the benefits of infrared saunas. So, my thoughts, why not combine infrared energy with the heat? Because you're going to heat up the air too, and then use the right type of exercise, not just any form of exercise. And to me, of course, that's yoga. But there are many other ways to do isometrics, and we
mhm,
created many other different workout types based off of hot yoga. So in the beginning, our motto was beyond hot yoga. Our
okay,
motto
okay.
now is more workout, less time. But
More workout, less time. Okay, because the workouts are there's a 15-minute and a 30-minute. Is that it? And nothing's longer than 30?
right, that's correct. You
Okay,
have plus or minus a minute or two, around 28 to 32 minutes usually. You'll have an isometric workout. HIIT workouts run right at 13 minutes. You get a couple of minutes to change out in between the workouts, and they're very much HIIT. You go
yeah.
from high intensity, medium intensity, low intensity, and you toggle, back and forth with those intervals as you hit that bike or the rower or the total body trainer that we use as well for the HIIT training. HIIT training, 15-minute sessions. The isometric, we block off 45 minutes, but the workouts themselves run about 32 minutes, let's say.
Okay, okay. I wanna get into the franchising in a minute, but let's continue on the sweating a little bit. So, like, I mean, I think the only way to truly detox is to sweat. I mean, you've absolutely got to sweat it out. So I've talked a lot about, people leveraging the dry sauna at their gym or, going for a run. I don't think anybody's as big of a lunatic as me to wear these dry sauna suits and go for a run. But I really feel like what you've come up with in terms of getting that workout in and then kind of the concept of what did you call it? More workout, less time?
More workout, less time.
More workout, less time. I mean, that's an awesome concept because everybody is so crazy busy. And I'll tell you, when I came out of the session that I did, I mean, again, I was drenched to where I had to wring out my shirt. But in my mind, I thought, wow, that was incredibly efficient. Even when I go for my sauna sweat runs, that's a 45-minute, 1 hour process. I probably achieved almost that same level of sweat gosh, maybe even that same level of sweat in that 30 minutes. So that was incredibly efficient. What do you personally like to do in there? Do you like to do the yoga? Do you like to do the rowing? Do you have any personal preference?
Um, you want me to give you my week routine?
Yeah, that would be awesome, actually. Yeah.
My week, of course, I continue to do weight training. So I'll go in the morning around 7 a.m. And each day, Monday through Friday, is committed to a body part, right? So Mondays, chest, Tuesdays, back, Wednesdays, shoulders, Thursday, arms, so triceps, Friday is legs, lower body. Okay. So I'll do the weight training. Then immediately we'll go into, right after that weight training, hot cycle or hot thunder, which is the rowing, or hot blast, which is the total body trainer, 15-minute hit. And then 3 or 4 times a week, come back, call it a 2-a-day workout after 5, and do the hot stretch, which is a workout, but it's a stretching routine.
I
That's
love that.
isometric as well, but it's stretching that you might remember from high school athletics.
Yeah.
And we have, stretching postures that we line up into a 30-minute workout. You burn as many calories in that hot stretch as you do hot yoga. So, and you feel euphoric after that. So I do that one once or twice a week. Then I'll do, like last night, we did hot yoga, or I'll do hot Pilates or any other one of the isometric workouts in the evenings. And then on usually the Fridays when I do legs, I also will run steps. And these are steps at my house, steps at my condo in Mississippi. Wherever I have steps on a Friday, I'll run those steps. I find that routine right there is great for what I still do athletic wise, which is climb mountains or snow ski.
Okay.
And the other thing that I would say that I think is the most important thing in fitness is for people to have a vacation, line up a vacation or a trip,
Sure.
anything that involves a movement endeavor or movement goal that you want to accomplish, whether it's hiking, whether it's cycling out or running, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Set that date, and then you got something to train for. There's so
I love
many
that
people
idea.
out
Yeah.
there that show up to the gym and they don't have anything to train for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's such a simple thing, but it's such a powerful thing, in my opinion. And I know it is because right now I'm training for a trip to Cabo in the next 2 weeks. We're gonna run
Yeah.
on the beach, me and my fiance. She's a big fitness competitor back in the day, and so that's awesome. Think about it every day, and
Yeah.
then the next thing coming up is gonna be climbing a mountain with one of my good friends in December. And so
So
there'll be
are you saying put a reward for yourself in terms of getting your body to look a certain way, or is it more maybe that and just motivating yourself to work towards something?
I think it's a combination of the 2. You know, anybody that says they don't wanna look better is lying.
Yeah, totally.
So there's that. But then there's also that functional aspect of just you wanna have balance. You wanna be able to dance. You wanna be able to do things even as you age. And, like I wanna still be able to ski when I'm 80, you know?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanna be able to continue to hike when I'm 80 and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think about it in terms of function, but of course, aesthetics, that's always in there as well.
No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Listen, we all want to look good. Everybody wants to look good. I'm vain as hell when it comes to that. Like I absolutely want to look good. And you know what's funny? A lot of it is for myself. Like I like the way I look when I look myself in the mirror and I'm at the certain weight that I want to be at. And it's not even that. It's just looking fit. And honestly feeling fit, feeling good, not struggling to get out of bed, not struggling to do that. I think you hit on 3 amazing things. One is I do love the stretching, by the way. Like I'm terrible at stretching. I really need to figure out how to incorporate that in my life. And you know what? You're motivating me to figure that out. 2, The concept of movement, I saw you had an Apple Watch on. I think that was an Apple Watch. Do you measure your steps on a daily basis? Is that a part of your routine
I
to like hit 10,000 or a certain number?
I don't measure steps, Ray. I'll be honest about that, but I do measure calories religiously.
Okay.
To me, the measurement of how much energy you're burning in a certain amount of time is the key to let me know how well my workout is going.
Okay.
Obviously, I keep up with my heart rate as well. I want to make sure that I get right at, but don't over very often my heart rate max.
Okay.
So those are the two things that I really pay attention to.
Okay. I got it. What about diet? Let's talk about like, what do you eat? Do you have a certain protocol that you like to do in terms of food?
I make sure that every meal, even a snack, is balanced. Okay.
Okay.
Try to get a reasonable amount of protein and carbohydrates, fats that make sense for me, that make me feel good, that get me to my function and aesthetic goals that I have.
Mhm.
So the macros I pay attention to for every meal to make sure those are balanced. And the other thing that I do that works very well that I promote and when I blog and so forth is intermittent fasting. I
Really?
really believe in that 8 hours on, 16 hours off. And
Okay.
and if you can keep it to 7 hours on and then, you know, 17 hours off, then I think you're even better off. But and then I think the other key to it is if you religiously do fasted training in the morning, because let's say you stop eating at 8 p.m.
Mhm.
Your body has metabolized everything out,
Yeah.
and it starts to begin to use the fat to burn for fuel in that morning workout,
Okay.
right? And I think that that's a really good and I would say easier way to quote diet than constantly worrying about the calories and the this and that. And that's important. Of course, that's important. At the end of the day, if you take in more calories than you burn off, then you're gonna gain weight. But the easier way to do it, in my opinion, is that intermittent fasting. If you really want to burn off some fat too, do the fasted morning workouts.
The fasted morning workouts. Okay, okay, that's interesting. Because you know what? I don't I go for walks in the morning and I haven't eaten anything. Well, I guess that's kind of it. Like I'll get up, I'll go for my morning walk, and then I'll come and have my coffee. What you're saying is you could even crank out a whole workout, but do it in the fasting process and then eat after that.
Yeah, I would get up, I make coffee and I'm drinking coffee during my workouts.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. And then I don't eat the first meal until lunch.
Okay. Okay.
And so you're really burning the fat during that time from when you wake up to lunch.
Okay.
That's
I mean
that's
that that makes sense. That makes
yeah.
sense.
And
Okay.
you supercharge it. Your body has to get used to it. Your mind has to get used to it. But once it does, then it's no big deal. You wake up in the morning, you don't eat until lunch. It's not even a thing.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think once you get into that process, that intermittent fasting, I need to try it again. I've tried it before and, I guess I need to recalibrate my expectations from it. I didn't see necessarily any real results, but I think I was measuring results strictly on the scale, and maybe that's not necessarily the way to do it. I like how you hammer home the weight training too, because I think that is important. I think with everything that is on the cardio side, including the movement, which I'm a huge fan of, but I think you've got to really do weight training and build that muscle. And I know a lot of people, as they get older, their bodies, kind of fall apart because they haven't built up that muscle over a lifetime. So, okay.
Can I throw in a very simple thing to do every Monday?
Yes, amazing. Absolutely.
And you talking about weight training. Every Monday,
Yeah.
first set that I do
Mhm.
is I drop down, I do 50 push-ups without stopping.
That's awesome. That's
And
awesome.
that lets me know right there how where my strength is.
Okay.
You know,
So
if
50 push-ups every Monday without stopping.
you
And
start
then Do you do
You start
push-ups the rest of the week too? Is that part of
No,
your
I do the 50, and that's my first set of my chest workout.
Okay,
I'll do
got it.
chest on Monday, I'll do back on Tuesday, I'll do shoulders on Wednesday, biceps and triceps on Thursday, I'll do, thighs, glutes, and calves on Friday.
Okay.
But in order to let me measure my strength to start the week, I'll do those 50 push-ups, and sometimes I bang them out so fast and it surprises me.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's a struggle. If I had a big football weekend and one too many cocktails, I will know it on that Monday with
I
the,
feel you.
push-ups. So that's my sort of, I guess, calibration or
Okay, yeah.
making the
It's
tool.
your gauge. It's your
It's my
gauge.
gauge. That's right.
Okay. What about, do you weigh yourself every day?
I literally never weigh myself.
Really? Okay, interesting.
I just rely on, all right, do my jeans still fit like I want to? Or and also just my functionality, how well my body is moving
Yeah,
really, what I pay
okay.
attention to.
Okay, all right, that's fair. Everybody that listens to this podcast knows I'm a freak about doing that because half the time I mention my weight on various episodes. But yeah, I don't know. I do. I weigh myself every morning. I find for me, it kind of helps me sort of stay accountable throughout the day. My biggest problem with food is portion control. I just have a hard time with portion control many a time. I mean, half the time I end up eating a full meal as I'm preparing the meal. So like I need to get out of that habit, get out of that stuff. And it's those little things like if you can fix your portion control and fix your size of your plates and things like that, I think those things go a long way. All right, any other tips on the food stuff?
The portion control, I get that. And I would say, you go through these phases, and when you could drop back into the eating less phase and be consistent with it, then it just kind of becomes a habit and a way and a lifestyle, kind of like the same way of getting in that routine of intermittent fasting and training on an empty stomach and not eating until lunchtime.
Okay. All right. So here's some good tips. Training on an empty stomach, intermittent fasting, not eating till lunchtime. It sounds like you're not necessarily like all protein type, you take in carbs or do things like that. Water? What about water? Is that an active part of your daily regimen or you're just good at drinking water?
So it's probably an area that I need to improve. I will tell you that I'm very much hydrating fanatic when I'm in that sauna. You know,
Yeah. Totally,
before,
totally.
during, and after. I like uh, electrolyte and amino together in a
Okay.
powder mixed with the water while training in the sauna, and then drink tons of water after, and I try to load up on water before I get in that sauna. But
Okay.
throughout the day, I probably need to drink more water, and I'm glad you bring that up because now you're motivating me to get better with that.
I love it. I love it. You know what? You know what's awesome about this episode? This is like 2 for 1. This is like we're talking regular health fitness stuff, but now let's switch into the business because honestly, man, my hat is off to you as a fellow entrepreneur. I know how hard it is to scale a business. That's the most difficult thing. I think everybody has ideas. Seriously, everybody has ideas. Then it's like, can you bring your idea to fruition and get it off the ground? That's step 2. And then really step 3, I think that what separates, where the rubber really meets the road is, can you scale the idea? So talk to us about how you scaled Hotworx, and maybe let's start off with, why did you decide on the franchise model and not necessarily just opening up, corporate store after corporate store after corporate store?
Yep. Well, Ray, I started out, um, you know, eh, opened a gym when I was 23, independent gym. But then about 3 years after that, I sold that business, moved to Jackson, Mississippi, and decided I wanted to open a Gold's Gym. So I
Oh, okay.
became the licensee of Gold's Gym. And at one point, I had 2 more in New Orleans, so I had 3 at one point. So I was a multi-unit operator of Gold's Gym. That is where I began to fall in love with the idea of franchising,
Okay. Okay.
and decided that one day I would become a franchisor, which I did, 1996 with Planet Beach. So franchising is a method of expansion. You know, some companies do it 50-50, like McDonald's has half of their stores are corporate owned, half of them are franchised out. And then you have Subway, largest number of units of any franchise in the
Yeah.
world, that has no corporate stores, and they're all franchised. For us, we have 4 corporate locations, and then all of the rest we'll open our 800th store next month.
Wow.
All the rest of them are franchised out. It's definitely, you know, 2 ways of operating, you know, when you own your own store or when you're creating a system to be able to duplicate through franchising. I think franchising can be the best way to scale, as you mentioned. But I will tell you this, and any entrepreneurs out there thinking about franchising their business, you need to, in the beginning with your very first location, document everything down to the last paper clip
Okay.
and
Yeah.
create an opening and then an ongoing operational checklists for everything. The old days of writing an operations manual, forget that. That
Yeah.
is so
Yeah.
old school. You have to have checklists for everything. Everything's digital. You know, and that's the way that you can then scale the business and measure what's going on. I mean, obviously, you have to have key performance indicators, and that's always evolving. You're going to have some things that are basic and fundamental, but then you're going to want to look at things differently as you get to different levels of growth, right? Like, for example, we have a development department, and we've decided that we need to get more efficient at the time it's taking for us from a franchise agreement getting signed to a franchise getting opened.
Okay.
And to do that, I had the department head go back and gather up all this data from day one, literally. And now we're putting that data into AI to generate reports for us. And it's enlightening.
That's
So,
awesome.
you know, I love business. I love scaling a business and the challenge that presents, right? I mean, for us, we're at 800, but we feel like we're just getting started. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
our
That's a lot of locations, though. That's a lot of locations. That's incredibly impressive. And, I think the fitness space in general is a franchise-oriented business model, right? Like I think Planet Fitness is franchised. I know F45s are franchised. A lot of, Pilates is gotten huge. I know places like Club Pilates and some of the bigger Pilates studios are franchised. Okay, so it seems like it's really a model that seems to work in the fitness space. Do all of your locations for the most part look the same, like the look and feel? I guess similar to McDonald's. You guys make sure at a corporate level, everything sort of looks the same. Do they have to buy maybe the look and feel from you guys? How does that part work?
yeah, it's all part of the package, right? From
Okay.
the logo to the design to the color palette to everything.
Got it. Got it.
It's super important to maintain that design, that look and that feel so that our core customer base, the culture of customers that we attract come in off of the advertising and the ways that they've heard about the brand. And sure enough, they come in and they see that this place matches what they thought in their head that it would be.
Yeah.
And if you can have that relevance, you know, and you have to have it at every location with the consistency, then you'll be more successful with building your membership base.
Okay, okay, that makes total sense. And then consumers, when they sign up, I think you guys have two different types of, I guess, membership. Maybe membership just for the one facility, if let's say they live in a area and they know they're not going to necessarily be going, or is there the ability to like use all the facilities?
There is. We sell 2 memberships. One is a Sweat Basic, and that gets you use of the facility that you purchased a membership at only. And
Okay.
then there is what we call Sweat Elite that gets you use of all the facilities out there. And then, also access to other digital tools that we have, like diet tracks, we call it, for tracking of your nutrition. Soon to have something on the training side of the equation that I can't talk about right now, but we're always innovating and trying to create and add more value to the Sweat Elite membership
Yeah.
and the Sweat Basic. But there's just the two. And the basic difference is what you said, right? You can train at one or you can train at all of them.
Okay, okay, I got it, I got it. It's like, man, it's competitive out there. It's competitive out there. And really, I feel like, and when I went and visited your one facility, I was talking to the franchise owner and I said, God, it's really, you're competing for my time more than anything. It's like if I'm somebody that has 1 hour a week, or I'm sorry, way more than 1 hour a week, 1 hour a day to dedicate to my fitness, hopefully people can have more, but realistically, I'd say if people have 1 hour a day to dedicate to their fitness, what are they going to dedicate that to? Is it going to be going to yoga, Pilates, just going to the gym and doing it on their own? I will tell you, I mean, I love the sweating. I've told you this several times now. I think that is just magic, man. It is absolutely magic. Like I feel even right now, I went for a run prior to recording. I feel amazing right now. Like I feel really great. So I think your competitive advantage on the sweating is there. And then like you said, man, you're getting the real workout in 30 minutes. That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. What do you find? I guess, are you competing for franchisees out there? Like, are you guys, do you have people that come and say, "Hey, I'm deciding between F45 and you guys." Like, do you ever get into those battles, I guess?
That's a great question. And I'm very fortunate to report that most of our franchisees come through organic means,
Mm,
meaning that I hear the same story all the time. 1 or 2 times a week, we have orientation for new franchisees,
yeah.
and they tell the story about how they heard about Hotworx. And I hear the same story all the time, right? Well, my friend invited me to come work out with them at Hotworx, and I went with her. I tried it. I fell in love with it. I became obsessed with it. And then I found out you guys were a franchise and decided that I wanted to open one up. And I hear that story over and over and over. And that's beautiful. And it says a lot about the product, for one. But now, every now and then, we do get a franchisee that comes in and said, it was between you guys and Chick-fil-A,
Yeah.
or you guys and whoever, right? So you do get that sometimes, but it's not very often.
Okay.
And usually, I would say 90% of the time, it's because they joined, they became a member, they loved the product, and then
Yeah.
decided to buy the franchise.
I love it, I love it. That's funny, between Hotworks and Chick-fil-A, all of a sudden that reminded me of a Seinfeld episode where Kramer started washing his vegetables in the shower. He was, like, multitasking. All of a sudden in my mind, I was like, "Oh, I wonder if we can do a Hotworks," and then you're eating Chick-fil-A in the in the house. Love it, dude. I really love it. I genuinely do. I think there's a real magic to this concept. Okay, let me ask you a funny question. So for everybody out there, by the way, Hotworks is spelled Hotworx. It's with an X, which I love that. But did somebody own the .com? Because I know the website is .net.
We They did. I'll tell you the story real quick. So we got the trademark,
Uh-huh.
okay, through the US Patent Office.
Yeah.
Got it very rapidly because of the relevance. Mm, but when it came to get the URL, some entity in
Yeah.
China
Yeah.
owned the .com, and so I was like, I don't really care. we'll just do .net and keep on trucking. And
Yeah.
that's what we did. And it hasn't affected our ability to attract traffic to our website at all.
Okay. Okay. Did you ever reach out to those guys to try to buy it?
It was so like amorphous. It was like we couldn't really figure out who owned it, but some
Yeah.
entity kinda. And so, but it didn't set us back at all.
That's
We just said,
funny.
"Look,
That's
let's just make
funny.
it Hotworx.net and go from there." And that's what we
Okay,
did.
okay. Yeah, it is weird. I'm really good at figuring that stuff out. So when I went to the page, the .com, and I landed there, it doesn't even give you the traditional landing page where, there's companies out there that have, man, they probably were such early adopters. They bought millions of URLs, and then their business is literally to set up a landing page. They put Google ads on it, and they wait for somebody to want to make an offer on that landing page. But hotworx.com doesn't even have that. It literally has nothing. You can't track anything. That's wild. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, it
We'll have to
was
see if we can figure out a back door to see who's got that, and then offer them like a complimentary session and see if we can get that for you.
yeah.
All right, let me see. Let me see if I have any more business scaling. So what's next? What's next for you? What's the roadmap ahead for, do you think about it as the next 12 months? Are you the type of guy that thinks about it as like the next 5 years, the next 10 years? How do you do that?
Yeah. Let's talk about the next 10 years where we would like to land is by far the largest and the most effective and the best boutique fitness chain in North America. Okay. We feel that with the white space that we've identified, we could have 3,000 units in the United States. It sounds like a lot, but when you look at the published aspirations of Planet Fitness, Big Box Gym wants to have 5,000 in the US. Anytime Fitness has 2,500 units in the US alone.
Yeah.
So then it doesn't become far-fetched at all. And then we've done all of the research on the towns and the markets and everything, and we know we can get that done without having negative impact to any other location. Just building on the brand. We really must do that to reach out and to obtain the full potential of the brand. But we are, as we speak, developing in Canada.
Okay, cool.
Our strategy is selling direct into the English-speaking provinces. We did, we're fortunate to have a franchisee in California that reached out and wanted to become the master franchisee of Quebec. So
Okay.
the French-speaking province, we have a French-speaking partner in a master franchisee for Quebec. And we are scheduled to close the deal on our master franchisee for Mexico on October 15th. So that's coming up, and she is absolutely outstanding operator based in Laredo, Texas. And so we're very, very fortunate for that as well. And then that kind of sets it up and tees it up for what it is that we want to accomplish over the next 10 years, which is like what I said, become the premier boutique fitness center for North America.
Gotcha. I gotcha. To understand, this is super cool learning about the franchise model, because I think when it comes to business, most people probably understand a corporate model much better. People don't really understand the ins and outs of the franchise model. So when you say you're signing a master franchisee for Mexico and let's say for the province of Quebec, then is that person responsible, or that entity, for like carving up Quebec, and then they sell maybe 30 franchises in Quebec or in Mexico? Gosh, I would hope she would sell, a couple hundred. Is that how it works? Like she carves up the geography?
Ray, I'm impressed because you're almost spot on to those two numbers.
Seriously?
Well, Quebec is 42, Mexico is 200.
That's hilarious.
That's awesome. But yes, you're exactly right. They are a sub-franchisor.
Okay.
They basically do, or they partner with us to then become the franchisor of that country for our brand.
Okay, got it, got it, got it. Very cool, very cool. And then here in the United States, do you, when it comes to carving up this geography, is it based off of mileage? Like if somebody wants to open up a franchise, do they get an exclusivity for a 30-mile radius or something along those lines?
They do. It's up to a 2-mile radius.
Two.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
and it also depends on population.
Okay, got it, got it.
We like to see around 30,000 in population within a protected radius.
Okay,
You know, and
okay.
that ensures that as the crow flies, as they would say, a location would be at least 4 miles away, and that's a lot of space and a lot longer in terms of driving to get to that next spot. So, it's worked very well thus far for us for development.
I love it. I love it. No, and you're absolutely right. You know, it's funny now that you mention it, 2 miles or 4 miles close. You know, one thing I've always realized with myself is proximity of where I want to do my fitness. It really matters. It really matters because the closer it is to you, the more motivated you are to go. My current gym is walking distance. So I have no excuse not to go to it because I can literally walk there. I can get my steps in, and I think that that
Yeah,
plays in what you're doing too.
and it's so important, especially in
Absolutely.
fitness.
Absolutely.
It's one of the things that we have to consider when we're advertising. Is it convenient for the folks that we're reaching? And psychographic wise, we're looking for people who want to discover their inner warrior. Our business is 85% female, 15% guys.
Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting. 85 female, 15 guys. Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I wonder why that is. Is it that you think it's that because of the workouts you provide? Like women are more into yoga, Pilates.
they are, we are so, heavily concentrated in the isometric area. Um, and also we have an offering that's sort of semi-private in terms of the
Mm,
workout, only up to 3 people per sauna.
okay.
And go in funny story, I never I I didn't expect this. When we opened the first location in Oxford, Mississippi, and that was back in February of 2017, after about a week, I would come in and I'm noticing everybody's working out in the saunas in the dark.
Mm,
Before that, I would always just go in, turn on the light, and work out.
yeah.
But and then, of course, it's 90% female in the store in Oxford, and they just like to work out with the lights off,
With the
and
lights
then
off.
you in my private, saunas, and so it's very appealing to, I think, the female demographic. So, our marketing is built around, the female demographic, that 25 to 40-year-old, core customer base that we have, right?
Yeah.
Uh, which is kind of the core and the bullseye of the fitness industry, as we all know.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. That first store you opened up in, where'd you say in Mississippi?
Oxford, Mississippi, home of the Ole Miss Rebels, who are
That's right.
going to lay waste to the LSU Tigers this
All right.
weekend.
There you go.
I
And
will be there.
You're an Ole Miss guy, right?
I
Did you
graduated
play
from
football there?
No, no, I played 2 years of junior college ball, and then I transferred to Ole Miss for my last 2 years of undergrad, and I started bodybuilding
Okay. Oh, wow.
during that time. Yeah.
Like competitive
Yeah, I
bodybuilding?
did. I did.
Holy mackerel. Man, that is a whole nother level of discipline.
It really is.
Yeah, I'll tell you'll love this, but in one of my past lives, business-wise, I was in business with Lou Ferrigno. So, yeah, Lou Ferrigno and his entire family, actually. So we created a television show called The Incredible Ferrignos, and they were basically going town to town, transforming families, and then we created a whole line of merchandise behind it called Ferrigno Fit, and it was all about, getting the family fit. It was an amazing overall program. We ran with it for a few years. It kind of fell apart for a variety of reasons. But one day Lou was like, "Hey, let's go work out." And I had a business partner, his name's Rich. He's like, "Let's go. I'm going to take you guys to work out." So he took us to Gold's Gym in Venice, which is the Mecca. I mean,
That's right.
you know that place, and so we walk in, Arnold's there, tons of, just bodybuilders and celebrities. And Lou obviously like Arnold. I mean, those are the two names when it comes to bodybuilding. I mean, he's a legend, and then he's also just like an idol when he walks in there.
Yeah, I walked in there. I saw him doing leg extensions one time. I go to California to train specifically to train at that Gold's Gym in Venice,
Yeah, yeah,
just because it's unbelievable, the
yeah.
energy,
It's just
everything.
cool. But what I was gonna say was, so he put us through that workout. Man, I was sore for like 3 weeks, I think, after that. Like, it was, and I'll tell you my biggest learning, and actually, I want your opinion on this. My biggest learning when it came to working out with him, in my mind, I thought, "Oh my God, he's gonna make me lift so heavy, and I'm not gonna be able to do it." It wasn't that at all. Everything was form. Everything was about form, and it was wild, man. He would go so slow with so many of his movements, but everything felt like it was maximizing the exact area of the muscle that he wanted to target. Is that kind of one of the keys of bodybuilding that helps you? Because man, your body goes to a whole different level.
Absolutely. I think that it's so important to maintain a discipline of
Yeah.
proper form in every exercise that you do, right? From push-ups to dumbbell flies,
Yeah.
whatever you're doing, it's so important to maintain that proper form.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. When you guys are getting ready for competition, do you dehydrate your body? Like, do you, and what's that process?
So the last time I competed was in the late 80s, but I still remember what I went
Okay.
through, right? You'll stop drinking anything usually Friday morning. And if you're um prejudging competition is Saturday morning, so you're going 24 hours without drinking a drop of anything.
A drop of anything,
Nothing.
nothing. Wow. And then do you take a diuretic or anything to drain
I
you?
I never took the diuretics. I knew of competitors that did. They
Yeah.
would have cramps and cause all kind of issues, but I never did the diuretics.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Man, this has been like five podcasts in one. Now we're talking about the bodybuilding. I love it. All right, listen, man, I've really enjoyed this. I'd love to kind of end with maybe two things from you. One is, any advice for everyday health? Any additional thing you want people to maybe just take away for, again, everyday health?
I would say it's super important to cross train between very defined and consistent workout types.
Okay.
Like if you can go between yoga and Pilates to weight training, but make sure you have the discipline of consistency with those different workouts. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And get your variety from the cross training, not from trying to change up a workout type every time you do it.
Okay, okay.
I
And is
think
that just to mix it up because to confuse the muscles and all that and to not get, I guess, stagnant?
I think it's to help a client, overcome boredom.
Okay, okay,
At the same time, they need to understand that the only way you're going to measure your performance, meaning your gains, is through consistency
okay,
of a workout type. Like, if you're doing planks, then don't try to just change up from and not do planks anymore. Do planks and see how well you do them each time you do them, and how you form gets better, how your strength and how long you hold it gets better, stuff like that. Not, I did planks last week, I'm not going to do planks this week.
okay,
Wrong.
okay,
You have to remain consistent with your workout type, but get your variety from cross training in between workout types. I think that's hugely important.
okay. Got it. Perfect. Okay, before I get to my last question, I did want to ask you, what about recovery? Like, do you rest on Sundays? Where do you net out on giving the body rest?
Yeah. So we like to call our workouts recovery workouts because isometric. you're definitely recovering in between sets of the postures.
Okay.
And if you're inside of an infrared sauna, that's being accelerated, right?
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Normally in a traditional workout method, you do your workout and then you go to the sauna, right? Well, for the kind of workout that we do, you're in the sauna while you work out,
Got it.
which
Yeah. Yeah.
all part of saving the time for the client
It's very
and
true. Very true.
active recovery during that workout. But of course, there is recovery beyond that workout as well. And I mean, I would say find yourself a really great cave of a bedroom to get great sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really important. I'm a kind of a freak about that. I want where I sleep to be very comfortable and like I like it cold. So however you like your sleep environment,
Yeah.
pay attention to it to make sure you get great sleep.
Okay. Okay. I love it. I love it. I'm a huge believer in sleep as well. I'm a huge believer in sleep as well. I track it on my Fitbit and my Apple Watch. I'm the only dummy that wears a Fitbit and an Apple Watch.
Yeah, this is an Apple Watch I've had for a few years.
I like it. I gotta get it. You've got a nice orange band. It
Right.
matches the deep shallow dive. I gotta get myself an orange band. All right, last question, man. Aspiring entrepreneurs. There's a lot of them out there. And I think that coming out of COVID, honestly, I think a lot of people, especially in sort of our collective age range, let's say anything over the age of 40, I think a lot of people are like questioning, not even questioning their lives, but like they want more of a purpose to their life, and that applies to their work. Plus, I think a lot of people got a taste of working from home, having, maybe a little bit more of a balanced lifestyle. And so I know a lot of my personal friends are like, man, I want to figure out a way to launch a business so I can be my own boss. I'm tired of the 9 to 5. And I think that really got exasperated during COVID. Any advice to its aspiring entrepreneurs?
Well, I would say think really hard and think it all the way through until you get that aha moment, until you feel like this is it. You feel it in your gut.
Okay.
Once you get that feeling about an idea, then I'm a big Tony Robbins fan. He will say, take massive action. You got to take the massive freaking action after that. And if you have a great product and then you build the right people onto your team,
Yeah.
and the next thing you have to do is create and have a great process. And that's the operational side of it that I live for. I love it. I'm a manager. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a manager too, though. And you gotta love it. Nick Saban would say, you gotta fall in love with discipline, or you're gonna have disappointment in life.
Wait a second. Are you, as an Ole Miss guy, are you even allowed to quote Nick Saban?
Well, I'm an Ole Miss guy, and I realized that our head coach used to be the offensive coordinator from Nick Saban. And Nick Saban ran Alabama, but he was the best in the business.
Yeah. Yeah, he
So
was.
even though he wasn't my coach and my team, I like to try to learn from and get mentored by the very best at what they do. In franchising and probably in any business, if you're an entrepreneur, you're going to have to coach people.
Yeah,
And if
absolutely.
you can learn how to coach like Nick Saban knows how to coach a football team, I think, why not, man? I mean, he's a master at motivating individuals to perform at their very best. And that's really what you do. If you create the right system around a great product, then you got to motivate the people to take it to the next level.
I love it, man. I love it. All right, listen, everybody. Steve Smith, CEO, founder, Hotworx, HOTWORX.net, everybody, not .com. You go to the .com, there's going to be nowhere land, but I'm going to figure that out for you, by the way. Hotworx.net, 700 plus locations around the United States. Honestly, everybody, I truly recommend it. And by the way, this is super cool. You guys offer a free class to everybody that goes to sign. Honestly, go look on your local, go on his website, go to hotworx.net, find a location that's near you if there is one. It's worth driving 30 miles if that's what it takes. But go check out a class. I really recommend this. I actually told my brother about it, who lives in San Diego, and he's going to go check it out. It takes a lot to impress me, especially on the fitness related stuff. I think there's so many gimmicky stuff out there. But man, when I came out of that class at the Hotworx in Ladera Ranch and talked to Sharon, the franchise owner, I loved it. I really loved it. And I really enjoyed it. And I got a lot out of it. You know what I mean? And I felt great. I sweat. I felt it the next day. I was a little bit sore in terms of the workout. So I know it works. So everybody, check it out. Hotworx.net. Steve, I really appreciate it, man. Hang on the
Great.
line.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
I'll let you have the last word.
Look, man, I enjoyed talking with you today. You got a lot of energy, and I love that. Fitness is a passion of mine, and I want to thank you for the opportunity.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. All right, hang on the line. All right, everybody, call a spade a spade. Call your parents and sign up for a free Hotworx class. All right, talk to you soon.
This episode was brought to you by the new book, Deep Shallow Dive Into You, available now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble in hardcover and paperback. Don't forget to sign up for our new mailing list on our website at deepshallowdive.com.